Hello, everyone. Before we start, we would like to thank you, Paul, for changing the way he organizes selection, and so people from France can actually get to come to the conference. We also want to thank our company who actually paid for the trip and became a sponsor, and also our colleagues who are probably thinking about us right now as we are here on stage to talk to you.
For sure they are. So hello, bonjour. My name is Rachel. I'm a senior product owner in Pôle emploi, and I'm also a UX project manager in my company.
And I'm Cecile. I'm a coach in Pôle emploi, an internal coach, and I'm also a SAFe program consultant. We are agile coaches. We work in a team. We've got 5 internal coaches, and we also train people within the company, training in agile and agile at scale. And our manager came up with this metaphor about us, the surrogates, because we just work like a family, and also we are always on the lookout, trying new things and stuff like that.
Yeah, and there's fun animals like us. So we work at Pôle emploi. Pôle emploi is the French national employment agency, meaning that we work for the government. We're a non-profit organization, and our core mission is to deliver unemployment insurance to our French workers, and also to make companies who are seeking for new profile, new people, to meet people who are searching for a contract. To do so, we provide a wide range of tools and services, including digital services such as web services and mobile applications.
So let's start with big numbers. There are actually 36 billion euros that were paid only in 2015 to people unemployed. So that's a pretty big number.
We own and run plenty of websites. The main website is called pôleemploi.fr. It's targeting job seekers and also company. It has gathered and published like over 5 million job offers this year, and it received the visits of 4 million end users per day. It's one of the hugest traffic in France of website, so it's a big, huge website.
When we look inside the company, there are actually over 57,000 employees, and we've got 900 branches, local branches in France. And just talking about IT, there are 1,600 employees, and there is about the same amount of people from outsourced contracts. We have to say that in France is an old country, and so there has been rules about work for a long time, and rules after rules. It makes all this very complex. So we've got a complex IT systems because rules accumulate.
We know the word of legacy, huh?
We do.
At Pôle emploi, we are bound by core values. The first of all is social purpose. We do have a mission, a daily mission to help other people. And we, in IT department, we truly believe in one's competency. So we train people, we coach them, we give them the chance to move and to be better in the skills. And this also is based on mutual respect. We have the chance to try new things. So that was a pretty cool and pretty solid foundation to build upon an agile mindset.
So Agile at Pôle emploi started in the early 2000s with some work on, started to work with XP. And then later on in 2005, we started with iterative and incremental methods. And then in 2010, we started in the internet teams that were conveniently co-located. We started with Scrum. So several teams working in Scrum. That's for the Agile at the team level front. We also started to work on customer-centric design. So we have a team of ergonomists that are part of the IT division, and they started to work in the IT division in around 2013, and at the same time, the method department promoted this user-centric design to make sure that project managers would actually call for ergonomists and things would improve overall. So there was a big training that was organized internally. And then we knew it for a long time, but we realized that we really needed help on the scaling front. So we had, in 2015, we had a strategic program that involved a lot of people, about 150 people. And so we started to put pragmatic things in place to synchronize those people, look at dependencies between the teams and stuff like that. And in parallel, we were looking also at frameworks for scaling. And the natural choice for us was the Scaled Agile Framework. We tested it to improve our practices on that strategic program. And since it gave us good results, we actually started to roll out end of last year.
And it works pretty good because we are IT people. We know how to implement frameworks and tools and methods and to run it well and make it efficient. So we are very good at it. So we deliver we have 4 major releases per year in our applications and softwares. We implemented quite well the SAFe program and team levels. If you don't know SAFe at all, don't be worried. Cecile is going to pass through and explain it just after. We are running and launching new trains. We have about nine trains now that are running. That include from 45 up to 105% each train. So there are plenty of people that are doing agile at scale. But still, we struggle with the flow of the value in our organization. There is still a lack of maturity of our teams and also our product management to think in flow, to adapt. The applications and services we launched are not always, they don't always fit a purpose. That's a pity. We act much more like a feature factory and not a value factory that is centered on end users. And most of all, the big change we face, the big struggle we change is strategy is still top-down and not user-centered and not rational one. So we have to move and to improve this. We have to improve how to pool value more efficiently across the organization. We have to be better in dealing with our businesses and take them on board on the agile. And also we need to be better in addressing end users' needs because that's a big request from them. And to do so, we need to optimize the whole process. And at the very beginning of it, we need to optimize the way we manage our company portfolio.
So, what does SAFe say about the portfolio? Before I go into that, I'll talk a little bit about the SAFe framework. Who doesn't know about the SAFe framework? Okay, a couple of people. SAFe, that's a framework that we use for agility at the enterprise level, basically. Rachel mentioned already the Agile Release Train. The Agile Release Train is the team of teams, so that's the bigger team. The entry point for the SAFe framework publicly is actually this big picture. This big picture is available on the SAFe website, and every element on the picture is actually clickable. So all of this information is free to access, not the training, but the the picture and the content is accessible. So it's basically a 3-level: team, program, and portfolio. There is a 4th level for really, really, really big companies, but I'll focus only on the 3 level for today. It's really built on agile methods and techniques that have been proven. So it builds on Scrum, it builds on XP, it builds on Kanban. It doesn't reinvent the wheel. It really bases itself on everything that is already proven. The other thing to know about SAFe is that it's a fractal model. So if you know about Scrum, you can understand pretty quickly how SAFe is working. Scrum, if you look at the team level, you're going to have teams working with Scrum. And if you look at the program level, you have teams of teams that will work with a bigger framework, or like a bigger version of Scrum. For example, in Scrum, you're going to have a sprint planning meeting. And in SAFe, you'll have the program increment planning meeting. In Scrum, you're going to have a sprint. The sprint size is the cadence. In SAFe, you're going to have also a cadence, and that's going to be 5 sprints. So every team will run sprints, and the teams of teams will be going through PIs. So because it builds bigger systems, it needs a bigger time frame. And everything else is the same. Retrospective and other ceremonies are the same. Same with the roles. There is a PO, product owner role, at the team level. There will be the product manager at the program level. And there will even be an epic owner at the portfolio level. Lastly, I could talk for hours, but Rachel is going to kick me. So to transition, I want to talk about the flow of value, and that's why we're here today, to understand better the flow of value. And the value really flows from, actually, from the top around the enterprise initiatives that are broken down and prioritized and then implemented in the teams. Let's have a look, a closer look to just the portfolio. The portfolio, it will start at the enterprise level. Enterprises have a strategy, and this strategy will be broken down or identified or materialized in strategic themes in SAFe. For example, at Pôle emploi, we have something called Pôle emploi 2020. So we know that's the direction. That's all the objectives that we are, or the vision, the things that are we pursuing for 2020. And at the portfolio level, there will be a backlog and a Kanban to deal with this backlog, and it will help flow the value throughout the system and throughout the teams, and there will be roles to deal with it.
Let's have a look on the Kanban.
Yes. So how does the Kanban work? Well, since it's a pull system, I'll start with the end. Epics are measured based on the success measures, the success criteria that are identified business-wise, like achievements and not features that are implemented. So an epic is done when the success criteria is reached, basically. And then before that, it's in implementation. During implementation, it's broken down into features that are getting implemented, okay? And that's WIP limited based on the capacity of the trains, of the teams. There is so much they can do at the same time. So that's the implementation phase. Before that, it's in the backlog. And in the backlog, it gets prioritized continuously. So there could be epics that are in the backlog because they've been approved, but they're going to be reprioritized regularly, and potentially they're never going to get done because the most valuable business initiatives are going to get done first. If we take a closer look at the review and the analysis phase, this is where we believe that there is exploration that is needed to actually identify solution alternatives in the analysis phase, and then in the review phase, that's where an initial evaluation is done. And all ideas are welcome in the funnel, but basically they have to be in line with the strategic themes. So,
okay, I get it.
You get it?
Yeah, the agile coach I am understand quite well how it works, the Kanban. But the product manager I am also is still missing something in there. There's something missing.
And yeah, we haven't talked about them yet.
We have missing end users. SAFe doesn't talk about end users at the portfolio. That's not good, so let's spice it. As Cecile said, there is 2 phases in this Kanban that are that welcome the exploratory phase. That's the review and analysis phases. And we tried to boost them up in injecting some lean UX tools we knew and we previously used, and we are going to see how. So we asked the teams that are working on this project, on this level, on the portfolio level, to use these lean UX tools and to experiment, combine them, modify them, in order to find a new way to take the enterprise initiatives and to explore them and to find a new way to meet our end users. So that's what they have done. They have used.
We've used a few practices. We've used innovation games that we had practiced before. We've had training on innovation games. I didn't talk about it during the history phase, but that's been a few years we've been using them to deepen our understanding of vision and stuff like that. We had heard about design sprint and lean startup, and we really wanted to try that. So we have decided to really try something around those. We had used them, but we had not used them at the right time, too late in the process, so that really needed to be addressed. And we also had used them independently, not necessarily in a combined way, organized way. So that's what we decided to try.
Yeah, so we talked to our managers and said we need to experiment. So give us project to experiments. So we looked at all the projects that came through the portfolio level from the enterprise, and we pick up 3. We pick up, the first one was last year. We pick up a small, tiny project that was the full redesign of the huge website I was talking about previously. Meaning that the enterprise wanted us to take this website, this huge website, and to put it on the trash and to rebuild it completely, change the UI, change the UX, change the service offer, technology, total revamping. So that was a tiny, nice field to experiment some new techniques. And this year you also pick up 2 other projects that were cool. The first one was Scaled Portolio. The objective was to build a brand new way to match job seekers and company, not by using just the matching on a personal resume and job offer, but using like big data to analyze all the skills the people had and the way the company recruits to make them smart matching. So that was fun. And the third one, I'm sorry, it's called My Personal Assistant. It changed the way we provide tools to our internal customers. Our conseil advisors on our agency were used to have like very old-fashioned way application, like fat desktop application, not usable and not really modern. And the company wanted to be able to provide them like new application that could be used on browsers, on mobiles, on tablets as well, and that could also use like new technologies such big data and also artificial intelligence. So we say, okay, that's tiny enough to make experimentation. So we took them.
So what we really have done, and that's what we're going to develop after, we've adapted the Google Ventures design sprint to our context, and we experimented on that. Then we've put in some practices to better connect the business and the IT people. And then we did tons of end users testing.
Okay, and to do so, we also have made a move. We were not alone. We have benefited from the advice of a senior UX professional. She's called Akemi Tadaki. She's Japanese. She works in USA for big companies, and she has accompanied us in this project, mainly on how to adapt Google Venture Design Sprints for us. As you know, Google Ventures Design Sprint is like a tiny framework. We're doing all the process in 5 days. It was too quick, too fast for us, as we are a very old organization and distributed and plenty of people. So we had to adapt it. We made it on 3 weeks time, which is the pulse of our organization. The team are developing in 3 weeks sprint, so it was the same cadency. Basically, we have made all the understanding workshop for the first week, or the ideation workshop and brainstorming and so on, and prioritize ideas to be tested at the end of this week. The second week, we have made all the work on the prototyping and user testing and an analysis, result analysis, to be able on week 3 to make like a big demo, inviting all the teams that were involved in the project, but also stakeholders and business managers to share with us the results and to have like a go-no-go decision at the end. Should we re-inject the solution in another design sprint, or is it good enough to go to development? And as we are coaches and we are trying to learn, we are also made retrospective as well.
So if we go into a bit more detail about the 3-week sprint cadence, as I said earlier on, since most of our big projects are organized in agile release trains, we've got program increments, and we've got 4 sprints in the program increment. And at the beginning of the program increment, we do this big meeting that SAFe recommends, where everybody's in the room for 2 days and everybody plans for the next 12 weeks. And so during those 2 days when we plan for 12 weeks, we set together objectives that we think are achievable during those 12 weeks. And within these objectives, we believe that it's important to bring in the exploration objectives of the new portfolio initiatives. So that's basically what we do. We set the objectives of what we want to build during this PI. And if we want to build a prototype to be able to test things with users and stuff, then we know we have to do the design sprint 1 sprint ahead. So basically, everybody gets in the room and plan together to get something out to the users and do the design sprint just one sprint ahead.
The other adaptation we have made on Google Design Sprint were mixing tools. We took the tools that were promoted by the KNAP book, and we added some new that we use. So on Monday, you have the understanding part. So we worked on with innovation tools on innovation games on business vision. We use as well persona, empathy maps, the user journey maps. Also, there were the tools that we used at this point. For the exploration, we use mainly impact mapping. I don't know if you know this. And also we recently added the value proposition canvas to enable us to build better proposition and to test them. Design Sprints recommends the Crazy 8 tool for divergent spurts, but we also add this camper method to make more brainstorm, more systematic ideation. The sketching part was on Thursday. It was mainly with doing storyboards and using a tool that's called the Design Studio That's like a very short iteration, sketching iteration with pitch and critique routine that enables people to create tons of solutions and ideas. And the last day, all the team were presenting to stakeholders the production they have made and pitched them, and there was a global vote. There was a silent vote, they call Zen voting, to select the best ideas we believed in to be prototype and to be tested after. To do all this workshop, we have like very cool power tools that were mainly papers and pencils and sticky notes. It was very basic, but it works quite well.
Yes. And what makes it work is basically the people, no surprises there. The important thing for us was to actually get to this multidisciplinary team, having people from 3 main areas, like the business has to be represented, and then you have to have the UX experts and UI profiles, and then of course the building teams, not the whole team, but somebody has to be there as well to bring in that perspective. And of course, around with those people, we have to have users, so we invite 2 to 3 end users to those design sprints, and we actually rotate the users to actually bring in fresh views each sprint. And we put them in a room, we lock the room until results come out. Is that?
Yeah, it's good.
Pretty much?
They had an awful sprint master, that was me. So.
Okay, and then as we said before, we use lots of innovation games, but we do have training, and we've been certified also on innovation game design. So we actually take some liberty as well, or we build some new collaborative workshops. For example, since we use SAFe, we prioritize sometimes with the weighted shortest job first. So we have to build a collaborative way to actually prioritize using this. I forgot one. There is one that works pretty well this year. It's called the election campaign. I don't know if you heard that game, but it is a workshop that helps develop services offering. Not sure you like that, but yeah, it's been popular.
It was very trendy in France this year, indeed. So there are some pictures. We brought you some pictures. There are smart people like doing like stuff. And as you see, we have really locked them into a room for a week in our war room. And the war room was plenty of sketches at the end of the day, which is very new for us to work like this. Like they're doing some sketching and prototyping, lo-fi prototyping, let's say.
Then the third aspect we wanted to look at today is the end users testing. There really is a trigger to a mental twist that has to happen within the company. Our business believe they know what the users want. I don't know if that rings a bell to anyone. And so we really have to make them understand, or they have to start understanding that actually I think we do too in IT. We believe we know what the users want too, right?
Of course. Yeah, and the biggest you are, big boss you are, the smarter the idea is.
That we know what the users want. Anyways, so we need to change that. And we really need to keep an open mind and get the things tested with the users, and then learn from it and validate our assumptions. So the mantra: test soon, test often, test more,
and test again,
and test again,
again and again and again. So this we have to promote it to manager because they had to buy it. It was not so simple. For many reasons. So we have developed end users testing strategy that was brand new for us, From the very beginning, I'm going to talk what's called prototyping phase, where we use Google Ventures, but also we aim to continue on the development phase and also after the launch, which is also new for us. So during the prototype phase, the first thing we have done is to gather data, because we had plenty of data, but it was unused data. So we have made analysis on this, on audience usage, blocking, and etc. We put people away from the office. We said, get out, go on the field, and go meet users in the agencies and see how they behave in the real life. We have made also focus groups to enable to make people talk about their needs, their perception of our services. The brand new thing was also the ideation workshop with end users, as Cecile says. And we have done plenty of usability tests, because we have a UX lab in our headquarters, so we use it a lot. And it was nice, and we sold also the idea to our manager that he doesn't have to stop, he should continue, he must continue. So we sell them all these tests to be done after. So we use the sprint demos to show end users what we have done and collect feedback again and re-inject that. We still do usability tests. We do also accessibility tests, because we are a governmental agency, so we have to meet accessibility high rates. We collect user feedbacks also. We do A/B testing. That's completely new for us, as a big organization. And we will continue after launch using the Net Promoter Score. That's new for us, because people are not used to recommend the employment website, but still we are going to monitor all of this. So that's some pictures of what we have done. That's our lab up here, and that's the focus group we have made with recruiters. We were asking them to sketch this application to reach the constraints. That's a tool that is used to monitor the accessibility rate of the website. So we have to have a minimum of 90% of accessibility. It's a French norm still. And we use also the AT internet to have data, quantitative data about usage, traffic, audience, heat maps, conversion rate, etc. And that's a pretty cool tool we use. It's provided by a third-party company that's called TestAPeak, and they enable us to make like big usability tests on thousands of people online, which usually we do usability tests with 6 to 10 people. With this tool, we can do it with thousands of people. We can provide them a scenario to go through and monitor what they do, what are the difficulties, the blocking part, and push them in the same moments question to be more sure about what was their feeling about the application, or what how they are going to rate it. And this helped us a lot to develop our tools. So that's the way it is.
Yeah, that's a lot of work, a lot of sweat, and a lot of effort. So are we in the mud then?
No. But with Higher Agile, we propose to do like a small Agile retrospective with you about what we have done, our experiments that are running for 9 months now. Mm-hmm. So what went well? Remember the 3 experience projects we picked up? Okay, the first one, like the full revamping of the huge website. Okay, the huge benefits, the key achievement was we did not redesign it. That was cool. We avoid a big catastrophe. I don't know if you say it in English, catastrophe?
Catastrophe.
Huh? Catastrophe. Okay, because by talking with end users, we learned that actually they loved our website. It was not so crappy or bad. We just had a bad idea of our services, and there were plenty of services and functionality that they care about, that they loved, and they didn't want us to trash them. So we keep them, we consolidate them, and also by talking with them, we saw like plenty of irritants that we didn't we didn't aware about, and we are now capable of solving this problem more efficiently without dropping everything. That's fine. On the Scaled Portfolio, that was a big success also because this project was stuck. It was before we took it, it was stuck in an 8 months brainstorming session that did not go, that not went well and did not produce anything. So by using the Google Ventures design sprint, we were capable in nine weeks to build prototypes and to actually be capable of showing them, testing them, and make it real. And that was very good for our management to see that an idea can be real. So it worked, and it helped us to reconnect with our end user on this issue. And now there is validated, and there is a beta version that's going to be launched in few weeks and tested with a large panel of end users. So that's good. And for my personal assistant, that's a big winning, the biggest of the three, because we applied the lean startup spirit with very short sprints. At the end of each sprint, we are prototyping, making it for real and testing it and learning. So we are capable, in few weeks, we were capable of launching a services, and now we are launching a new version of these services each month. And there's a pilot version that is going to be online also soon. So that's good. And remember what I say about Fat Client desktop application? No, that's the new version of the My Personal Assistant, which is now a web application that's responsive, that works on mobile phones, that works on web, and that's where it has been built with the advisors in the agency. And they are very happy of it.
And there is a cherry on the cake. Yeah. We actually, we've heard of the new version of SAFe, the 4.5 that is in the works. It's been presented at a webinar by Dean Leffingwell lately. And he's been presenting a new concept that is called continuous delivery pipeline. And the continuous delivery pipeline includes, goes beyond continuous integration and continuous deployment. It includes a phase before that is called continuous exploration. And that's exactly, I think that's more or less exactly what we do. He's talking about lean startup and stuff like that. So it's still in the works, so probably things that are going to be change and pop up before it goes on the website. But from what we heard, it looks like we're moving in the same direction anyways.
Okay, that was what went well. So we're doing an agile retrospective, so we must face the problems also. What went wrong? What do we need to improve right now? Okay, to test these new techniques, we had to make sometimes shortcuts, and sometimes we have made very crappy shortcuts, especially regarding code quality. We didn't reach all the standard we used to have for development, so we need to be better. We need to be able to deliver quicker, but with the same level of quality, so do not compromise with quality. Also, regarding the workshop, as it was new methods, people were very curious about this. So when I've invited 8 people to work, in fact, there was 20 or 30 that was coming to the workshop, and 30 or 30 people is too many. You can't work with too many people. So next time we are going to shrink the workshop size. Also, the people that came to the workshop were not fully trained and prepared, and sometimes he has created blockers. So we really knew that we really know that we must train the people, especially regarding end users interaction. When you put an end user into a group of people that are not really trained to handle them, they take for granted that all what one end user says is the rule for all the end users. And we know, as we work in UX, that we have to take a step from back and analyze and be criticized also on this feedback they gave us. So we have to train the people. And
last, what we've learned about all that, we've learned that we thought it was going to help us to understand the needs and the context better. Well, it did help us a lot. So we really have to do that systematically and to do that definitely more before we are going to build a solution. Secondly, we need to Gemba more often, and so we need to go out on the field, and we absolutely need to observe and strengthen this phase, this exploratory phase, and do it systematically to make sure we know what the end users want. Also, we need to avoid crystallizing the solution too soon. Like, we've had a case of a prototype that was taken for the final solution, and then they didn't want to invest more into making it the final solution. So that we have to educate around that, definitely. And then the last point is that I presented the Kanban workflow at the portfolio level, and then we are just at the premises of that, and so we need to push that forward because we do believe that's going to help us bring more value to the users and to the business.
Furthermore, our coaches and trainers, we learned that we needed, it's crucial to communicate, explain again and again and again, show data, show results. We have to convince people to embark them, especially when the time gets tough, when there is friction. You need to have prepared and communicated well. And also we need to accompany the cultural change that it integrates, because lean approach changed the way the power is in in our company, and not in every company, but our company. By reintegrating end users in the decision process. And for us, it was very complicated. We struggle with that. So we need to be better coaches on these points.
Now we do, we do have one thing that I wanted to add. We do have communities of practices that we launched last year, so we can use the community of practice to help communicate. And we do it a lot. We've got 13 of them, communities. We've got 13 communities of practice, I think.
And dojos.
And this year we started dojos to actually help, how do you say?
Practice.
Practice, yeah, but I'm saying spread all the good practices. That's what I was looking for. So yeah, that's we use those to actually, because there are only 5 of us coaches, so we can't be everywhere. So we really have to rely on that to improve as a whole.
We have done like development dojo, coding dojo. We do have also like POs dojos, like product management dojos. That's fun and that works.
So yes, we believe we've got a big mountain that we have to dig. And so, but that's a joke that Rachel came up with.
That's a private joke.
Yes. We've got lots of spoons to actually dig the mountains. So that's what we do. And that's what we do when we train. That's what we do when we communicate. We just give out spoons to make sure that everyone can participate and dig the mountain with us.
We do really give them spoons, huh?
That's it for
Thanks.
talk. Yeah,
it was our talk. It was our
That's
feedback.
our experience, yeah.
So thank you for listening. If you have any question, feel free to ask them here or outside. No props. And some credits about SAFe. We have taken pictures from SAFe. And the pictures are from unsplash.com and the PPT is like Carnival. Thank you very much and thank you to the organization.